Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope that you're doing well. Now, this is gonna blow your mind. Absolutely fry your brain. Like, you know those old school commercials from way back in the past where it would be like, this is your brain on drugs, crack the egg into the frying pan? That's gonna be you. But yeah, listen up. You don't actually need thousands of fragrances. It's insane. I know, it's what? Next thing you're gonna tell me the earth is round. You're crazy. But yeah, you don't need that many fragrances. And today I'm gonna be sharing with you 5 different 3-bottle collections that can have you sorted for all year. So I've got 3 different categories, 5 fragrances per category, and then also a wild card per category as well. Spring, summer, fall, winter, and then your versatile all-round fragrance. And feel free to mix and match. You can take one from one category, one from another, and one from another, and create your own out of these fragrances, your own 3-bottle concoction. And so with any of these 3-bottle collections, you'll be smelling great year-round without the need of owning just too many fragrances. Got too many. Let's get started with collection number 1. First off with the spring summer selection, which is Polo 67 Eau de Parfum from Ralph Lauren. Similar, of course, in many ways to the Eau de Toilette, which also would work very well in this spot, but I picked the Eau de Parfum because I do like the opening a bit more and it's a little bit richer as the fragrance dries down, which helps it out during spring when maybe it's a little bit chilly, you know, toward the beginning of spring. The opening, very fruity, fresh, sweet with citrus and pineapple, really attention grabbing and also extremely versatile, easy to wear. A good fragrance for the office or casual situations. Performance is not too bad. Price is pretty good as well. So there's a lot to like about this one. And it also doesn't hurt that it's a newer fragrance because maybe some people wouldn't want to wear a fragrance from, say, 2006 or something like that. Although they should, that's really not that old, right? Somebody out there watching this right now, like 2006, man, I wasn't even born yet. That's so long ago. And I'm just like, so yeah, Polo 67 Eau de Parfum. There's the first choice. We're going to fall and winter next, and we're going with Le Male de Parfum. Switching things up quite a bit, obviously. This fragrance smells absolutely nothing like this fragrance, but that's kind of the idea, something very different. So this is a great one for an evening out. It's also classy, but it's easy enough to wear that you can pull it off pretty much any time. It's got a nice richness to it, a sweetness, and a touch of powder as well. Iris is one of the notes in here, which really helps the fragrance stand out, gives it a unique edge. And it's got bits and pieces from the original Le Male in here, only done in a more modern way, and obviously fine-tuned for evening use and fall and winter use. Darn good smelling fragrance, great quality, just a really nice one to have in your fragrance lineup in general. And next up, we're going versatility. And what better fragrance if we're talking about a versatile designer scent than Bleu de Chanel? You know, this is the Eau de Parfum. So Bleu de Chanel Eau de Parfum you can wear anytime, don't matter. Daytime, nighttime, any season. So if you were really going for a true 3-bottle collection, this one you could wear in place of this if you got tired of this, or in place of this. Or if you were thinking maybe, you know, in fall during the day, I don't want to go for this one. It's a little bit more for when it's much colder out or an evening scent, then go for that. So Bleu de Chanel in typical blue fragrance fashion is just an extremely easy to wear, versatile compliment puller. That's what it is. That's why it's one of the best selling fragrances of all time for men. Got a nice opening, citrusy, clean, and then as it dries down, it becomes a little bit woodsier, classier, and just, as I said, about the best versatile fragrance you can get, or the most versatile. So there's your first collection and your first choices that you could make per category. Well, let's go to the second collection, which is gonna kick off with Terre d'Hermès Eau Givre for spring and summer. So this is gonna give you a much different vibe than Polo 67 Eau de Parfum. You still have citrus in here, but whereas in the Polo 67 Eau de Parfum, the citrus is a little bit more sweet and fresh, this one is more tangy, a little bit rindy, slightly more natural smelling, but still has a nice little bit of sweetness to it. Then as it dries down, it becomes more about a fresh woody aspect. It's a little bit similar to the Terre d'Hermes fragrances that came before it, only without that earthiness really in there. Basically, it's been cleaned up a bit. I would say if you judge this one against Polo 67 Eau de Parfum, that Terre d'Hermes comes across a little bit classier between the two. Maybe the Polo 67 slightly more youthful because of that sweetness that it has. But both of these are amazing choices for spring and summer. I love them both. Let's go to fall and winter next with the most wanted parfum. So yeah, once again, extremely different. This one is very contemporary. Nowadays, you have Vanilla Bomb after Vanilla Bomb, and this one, you know, is kind of in that category, in that style a bit. Also has a little bit of ginger, some slightly smoky, woody aspects to the fragrance as well. Really good performance. It does lean maybe a little bit more toward evening use, but if it's cold outside, doesn't matter, you can wear it during the day. And it is one of the better fragrances in this style, in that vanilla, sweet, warm style that, like I said, is pretty much everywhere right now. Now we need some versatility. And for this one, we're gonna switch gears a little bit and go Gentleman Boisé. So this is an iris forward fragrance, but there's also cacao in here, a nice woodsy aspect, also some black pepper, some geranium, so some fresh spices when you first spray the fragrance on. Now maybe in the middle of summer, you would go more back toward the Terre d'Hermes, because this one does have a little bit of density to it, some sweetness to it, but I think you can pull it off during the summer as long as it's not raging hot, and be a really good evening fragrance during the summer. And as far as fall, winter, spring, no worries. This just gives you a nice switch up, a nice change up versus these two back here. It gives you something different. And you could also go with Gentleman Eau de Toilette Intense. That would be a really good choice as well in the Gentleman line, or Gentleman Eau de Toilette, frankly. And Gentleman Eau de Toilette would be maybe a little better suited for summertime versus this one, but I do like the change of pace that this gives, which is why I've got this one with this collection. Now, all of these are designer fragrances. Some are more expensive than others. Like obviously the Bleu de Chanel is gonna be a little bit pricier because you can't find it at discounters very often, or very at all ever. Actually, from time to time, I have seen it at discounters for more expensive than you can get it at retail, which is, it kind of defeats the purpose. So outside of the Chanel, all the other ones you should be buying at discounters if you want to save yourself a little bit of money. And if you do shop at discounters, which again you should be, here's some codes you can use to save a little extra money. The JOMASHOP codes change quarterly and only work within the JOMASHOP app, so be aware of that. The app is the same as the website, basically. Download the app, use the code, save a little bit of money. And then Fragflex, the perfume box, Max Aroma, etc., you can use those on their website as normal, on their respective websites. Now the next one is from Michael Ja Rule, and it's Ocean Noir. I know, it's Michael Malul. I just, every single time in my head that I say Michael Malul, I'm thinking Michael Ja Rule, and I don't know why. It's just something that got stuck up here and it ain't going away. So this is one of their most successful, most popular fragrances. It sells a ton. And this is gonna be more in that sweet aquatic scent profile. Of course, the name kind of gives that away, Ocean Noir. So you do have those aquatic notes, but then there's also coconut and tangelo off the top. As it dries down, tonka, musk, and amberwoods. So it's very fresh and zingy, but then it has enough sweetness that you can pull this off during daytime or evening. It's a big compliment puller, and even though it is quite popular for Michael Malul, obviously it's gonna be more under the radar than something from Ralph Lauren, right? So this is gonna be for the guy who wants something fresh, something clean, but they also still want that sweetness, which a lot of people are after right now, which is why fragrances like the Most Wanted Parfum are so popular. So Ocean Noir kicking off for spring, summer, and for fall, winter, we're going Sauvage Elixir. Yeah, Big Daddy Sauvage Elixir. This one woody, spicy, very masculine, and a nice counterpoint to Ocean Noir, because while there's a touch of sweetness in here, Sauvage Elixir is not really trying to be an overly sweet fragrance. So again, gives a little bit of a change of pace, change of style. Great performance on this one, lasts a long time. Of course, the biggest drawback from this fragrance, or about this fragrance, is the cost. It's expensive. Licorice woods and spices. It smells fantastic when it's cold outside. But even though it has good versatility for me, for when it starts to cool down, it is not very versatile for me anyway when it hits spring, summer. As in, I don't want to wear it because it's a bit too strong, a bit too much. So that means we need something with a little versatility that we can use in place of either one of these. And since both of these are fairly strong, we're gonna go with another one that's got pretty good performance. Valentino Uomo Born in Roma Intense. So yeah, this is going back to that sweet side of things. You know, sweet here, not quite as sweet here. This one, sweet once again. Vanilla, one of the main notes in the fragrance here, actually the star of the show really. Also has vetiver, lavender. So it has enough freshness that you could pull this off when it's getting warm outside. You probably wouldn't go as heavy, you know, middle of summer, I wouldn't go crazy heavy with that. But if you're rocking this one and really enjoying that sweetness, you're probably gonna like the sweetness here. And if you're more predisposed to wearing sweet fragrances, then there you go. Also has a nice little bit of woodiness from the vetiver in there, keeps things masculine. In the air, absolutely killer. An amazing compliment puller. So there's that one. Let's go to the next collection. And you have to let me know which one of these is the winner. Like which collection would you pick if you could only pick one? Although keeping in mind that you can just mix and match. Luna Rossa Ocean up next. So blue fragrance, versatility, fresh, clean, and typical Prada fashion. It's got lavender in there, bergamot, little touch of iris, sage, touch of suede, musk, and vetiver. And also in typical Prada fashion, it's got like a little bit of a soapy aspect to it. So it's the type of scent that you can wear pretty much anywhere, anytime. But it also has a nice little classiness to it. You know, it works very well as an office fragrance, as most Prada fragrances do. And even though it doesn't always get a massive amount of love, if you're looking for a fragrance that you can use pretty much whenever you want, it's a darn good one. And frankly, that could be in like the versatile section because you can wear that pretty much anytime, but it is a little more spring, summer centric. And from there, we head on to fall and winter with Lalique White in Black, which is a fragrance that you can find at discounters, typically for a pretty good price, usually around 40 bucks, maybe a little bit less. It smells a bit similar to Parfums de Marly's Layton, which obviously a very good fall and wintertime fragrance. Not a bad fragrance to smell similar to. So it has cardamom, lavender, good amount of vanilla in there, some woods, Tolu balsam, also olibanum and a touch of citrus as well. Really sexy, but a little bit classy, just like the Luna Rossa. So it does have a bit of sweetness, not as much as like the Most Wanted or Born in Roma Intense, but it's got a little bit in there from that vanilla, but it's got more of like a warm, spicy kind of aspect going on. And for the price point, an absolute steal. And now we need a little versatility. So I'm gonna go with Myself Eau de Parfum from Yves Saint Laurent. Now this is a scent that leans more spring, summer. Absolutely. If we're talking about when you would wear it outside, you know, it's gonna work maybe a little bit better for some people in high heat than it is chilly conditions. Chilly conditions. Yeah. That being said, if you're in somewhere that's air conditioned, doesn't really matter too much, and frankly, that goes for pretty much any fragrance, but it does work during fall and winter. Don't write this off and say, oh, you could never wear this when it's cold outside, because you absolutely can. The orange blossom is gonna come across a little bit brisker, a little bit fresher. Yes, maybe it doesn't cut through the cold the same way as like the Most Wanted over here, but it's still gonna smell amazing. People are gonna love it. And if we're talking versatility, Myself, about as good as you can get. All right, final collection before the wild card, Eros Energy kicks us off. Eros Energy is for the lovers of citrus, which I am, but if you hate citrus notes, especially when they're right up in your face at the forefront of the fragrance, it ain't gonna be for you, sorry. And that's because they put basically every single type of citrus that exists in this. And you can see the note breakdown right here. That's a lot of citrus. Good thing about that, when it starts to warm up outside, whew, real nice. Super fresh, a little bit tart, slightly sweet, bright, uplifting, energizing, all of those things. It also has vague similarities to Aventus Cologne, so you kind of got like a similar-esque vibe to that when you spray this one on. Not the exact same, but kind of same overall wheelhouse to an extent. I think it smells fantastic, and as the price has dropped on this at discounters, it has become a much better buy. Now on to fall and winter, Scandal Absolu from Jean Paul Gaultier. Got two gold bottles right here, where one is kind of pea yellow and the other is gold, but you know, saying two gold bottles, it just sounds a little better than pea yellow and gold, right? So we're gonna stick with gold. Forget that I said that. You forgot, right? Okay, cool. So this is falling in line with those, you know, sort of vanilla-y type of scents that are, like I said earlier, really popular right now. But it does smell really good. Mirabelle plum, this cozy chestnut vibe. Yeah, that's really good. That's one of those ones that just, the more you smell it, the more addictive it gets. Good performance with this one as well. And one of my absolute favorites for fall and winter in general. And so for the versatile one, we have already established that whoever this is for, they like a little Aventus style. You maybe know where I'm going with this already. And we're looking for a fragrance that can be used just about any time, daytime, nighttime, but it has to be a designer. So Explorer, yeah. Explorer, basically designer Aventus, right? Not quite as smoky, rich, deep as Aventus. Not as pineapple-y, more bergamot pink pepper and fresh woods as it dries, but it's still similar enough that you get the drift. That being said, not very expensive, big compliment puller, extreme versatility, use it whenever you want. So with this collection, there may be a little bit of overlap between these two to an extent, but if you spray them on side by side, they are quite different. But they have enough of a similarity that if you like one, you very well may like the other. Now time for the wild cards. Really quickly, for spring summer, we got Montclair's Sunrise Pour Homme. This one flies under the radar. Not a huge amount of people are wearing this one, especially compared to some of the more popular fragrances that are out there nowadays. And it has like just a touch of a similarity to Absolute Aventus, not as close as either of these, but it is a scent that has a great fresh aspect to it, a nice woodsy aspect to it as well. Really easy to wear, extremely versatile. So yeah, spring, summer, but honestly, this is one of those ones that I feel like just kind of whenever you want. Ooh, real good. For fall, winter, the scent, and this is the scent Absolute. Maybe 50, 60 for this one at discount or somewhere around there. It's got Maninka fruit, vetiver, and also a little bit of ginger. So it's very different from all these other ones here. There's a little sweetness in there, but it's coming from that Maninka fruit. It's not coming from a big overdose of very sweet vanilla. It's not a bad thing, I like vanilla. It just gives it a different vibe, a nice zing off the top with ginger, good daytime or evening scent, and stands out against most other designers that are not from the scent line. And then for versatility, CH Men. Love CH Men. Kind of gets slept on nowadays a bit because it's been out for a while. And this is one that more people are gonna think of as fall, winter, but it's not overly super strong or anything, so you can wear it during spring, summer. Just dial it back a little bit. Great sugary leather scent profile, ultra sexy, big compliment puller. Nice opening with a touch of like a grassiness to it. Smells really, 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 really nice. And that finishes up the wild card over here. So there we go, guys. 5, technically 6 different fragrance collections, 3 bottles that you could use all year round. So let me know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which of these is the winner? Thank you for hanging with me. Stay safe out there, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.